Alright, how's it going today? Decided to switch it up today. I was watching some YouTube and saw Andrea Mengucci. This is a while back now, probably a couple weeks ago. It's an old video, but I saw him playing Historic with Jeskai control. And I'm a sucker for Jeskai control decks. So when I saw this, I thought I had to give it a shot. This is his list. I did change it a little bit as Teferi did get unbanned, so I did slide that in. The cuts I made, I do believe, if I remember correctly, were one Torrential Gearhawk, a cut, a Prismari Command. I don't remember what my other two cuts were. I made two other cuts. I'll show you the list that we're playing today. So this is the list we'll be playing today. We'll be playing best of one. I have not played Arena in a very long time. Like I said, I literally saw Andrea Mengucci's video with this list. Like I said, I slide in 4 Teferis. I played a little bit with it. It seemed good. We're going to play it in best of one, so sideboard doesn't really matter. But this was his sideboard that he ran. Hold on. Sorry, there you go. You can see the whole sideboard now. This is card for card what he ran. I didn't make any changes. I've been playing best of one, so it's irrelevant, but that's what we're going to be playing today. I'm really low on the ladder, so if you're looking for a high ladder gameplay, I apologize. I am basically at the bottom. I literally did 2 or 3 of these, what do they call these? Rewards, basically. And oh, did I spell Jeskai wrong? Oh yeah, I did spell it wrong in the deck tech. My apologies there, Brad. So we're gonna give this a shot. I know very little about Historic. Like I said, I'm literally just getting back in just to play Jeskai because it looks like a good deck, so we're gonna jam in through Historic and see how it does. I assume it has really great creature matchups. I know I have not seen any alchemy cards, so it'll be a learning experience. His hand is incredibly slow. It's kind of odd. I always look at what our opponent's sleeves are in their avatar. I feel like it gives away information, as dumb as that sounds. We'll keep this. Run to play. If it's an aggressive deck, we could probably get run over, but we do have the Wrath of God if we can survive, and an Archmage Charm, so. I do apologize if you see some stutters on Arena. It is strictly Arena itself. I don't know why, but my computer just hates running Arena for some reason. We do need to draw a land here. We're up against basically swap this creature and I forget what it's called. It's 3 red and X, and I can basically turn this creature into a bigger, heavier hitting creature. It's not what we want to see there. We're just gonna pass and draw to end of turn. Apparently we're not meant to draw lands. There's land. I'm just going to jam a little Teferi here. Like I said, they can turn this into a bigger creature. I assume they're going to turn into there's a big white creature, and you can name, was it instant sorcery creature or planeswalker, and the card's hexproof from that. We're going to pitch a little Teferi here. Okay, our opponent just concedes. Like I said, I do apologize. I don't know all the cards. I don't know if our opponent's hand was that bad or if little Teferi making all of our other big spells uncounterable mattered at all, but I saw there's a blue-white list running around as well. I feel like that has more counter spells in it. It's probably better in the mirror and such. Whereas Jeskai, I think, is really great against the low to the ground creature decks in the format. This is more or less purely speculation, but Lightning Helix is a solid card. Blue-white obviously has tons of removal as well, like Portable Hole and such, but I feel like Jeskai is definitely more favored in the aggro matchups, but does concede some to the, you know, where you want more counterspells. Double Triump's a little awkward here. I'm just going to play our Portable Hole here on the Lord, obviously. We're really looking for Anger of the Gods here, obviously, or Wrath of God. This card is indestructible. I think we're going to play Narset here. Keeps them from drawing a card off their creature here. They'll probably waste a turn attacking it. And I was hoping to find a Wrath there. So we have 5 in the deck, but we did miss. I assume our opponents get Collected Company here. Seems pretty strong. Alright, we need Anger of the Gods here. That is not it. We could have Expressive Iteration there, but we're obviously dead on board, so we'll just bounce our creature, draw a card, hope to hit a Wrath, and we do hit the Wrath. So as long as our opponent doesn't play this creature and can hold up like a counterspell, we should be fine. Well, he might just be dead here. Most likely we're dead here. Yeah, seems pretty good for our opponent. Can't do much against Double Collected Company. That's the nice thing about Best of One. The matchups are fairly polarizing, and they're usually over quite quickly. I have found some creature decks are kind of fast enough to get under this depending on your hand, but usually it requires a very strong draw out of them. Like there, they used every card that they had available to them. And, you know, we were one turn away from stabilizing, and that seems to be a reoccurring trend for the losses this deck does take. We'll keep this. We got the Lightning Helix for an aggro matchup. We have the Search for Escanta versus a control matchup. So Merfolk is apparently a popular deck. Let's go and jam our Search for Escanta here. Want to make sure we hit our 4th land drop. We'll keep pretty much any land at this point. We'll kill their Lord and reset to 20. Seems pretty good for us. Our opponent's playing to the board, so his Wrath will be pretty strong here. I'm going to keep the Teferi in hopes that we do hit our land next turn, so we can curve into Teferi. See if our opponent has another Collected Company here. I'm just going to put this card back. I just want to stifle them. They have no flash threats for 1 mana. So they can't, and they have no haste, so they can't answer as Teferi this turn. I just want to keep their board as clear as possible. I don't think we need a portable hole here. If we hit a land, we have Gearhawk. This is kind of awkward. So we can't kill this. I'm just going to go ahead here and be mana efficient. We'll Justice Strike here, untap 2 lands with Teferi and still have Gearhulk open. Or is he going to flash in and block? Okay, that's enough for our opponent. The games where we do hit our sweeper on curve and they don't have double Collected Company seem very one-sided, as you can see. At least we found a match a little faster there. Waiting up to a minute to find a match on Arena's pretty long. I think this is another keep. It is awkward having an Archmage Charm in hand when we have a Sacred Founder and a Clifftop Retreat, but We do have the Narset for control matchups, and the Lightning Helix and Wrath of God for the aggro matchup, so. Since we have removal spells here, and I might want to play Narset, we hit a blue source. I'm just going to go ahead and Lightning Helix. As unfortunate, it is a blue source, but it is tapped. I find this matchup in mono white is a very easy matchup for this deck. However, the green splash sometimes with Collected Company and such can put up a better fight. Yeah, they just have turns like this where they play a Heliod, and like we just don't care about it at this point. Like right now in the game, Heliod is irrelevant, especially with the Wrath of God. We'll take another Wrath of God. Sorry. Anger of the Gods is good in this matchup. The only problem is they can grow their creatures outside of its range, sometimes very quickly, depending on the context of their hand. So Wrath of God is just usually strictly better. With that said, yeah, this matchup's pretty much over at this point. I was gonna say with green, they run a card. It's a green and 1, and it gives all their creatures hexproof and indestructible. That card can be problematic. What is this tapping? Okay. Sometimes you have to watch how it taps your mana on Arena. So I was trying to hold up our Archmage Charm here. Unfortunately, we cannot, so. Arena did tap correctly. This is a turn they're going to kind of go off a little bit here. They may even be able to turn on their Heliod. Would have preferred a land there. Let's go ahead and Wrath their board away here. They knew about that Wrath. I have found that little Teferi is super great in this matchup, as you can instant speed Wrath against them since they play no haste threats. They have to play very much to the board, and it is very strong. I assume our opponent's going to collect a company here. I assume they're going to do it in response to our Teferi untap. Alright. We'll see what our opponent does here. They might get a little greedy here and only send 2 creatures at Teferi, at which point we'll make a 1/1 shark and block to keep our Teferi alive. Then we'll untap and Wrath of God, obviously. I'm surprised they're killing our Narset. I don't know if they draw any cards, to be honest. We'll do the play we talked about. We'll make a 1/1 shark, block and save the Teferi. Untap and have our Supreme Verdict available to us. As you can see, like I said, Anger of the Gods does get turned off fairly quickly here. We're going to tuck their Heliod here. And then we'll just Wrath away their board. I'll be honest with you, I didn't read the full text on that card and didn't realize it's going to make a bunch of 1/1s. That's rather annoying, but we do have a backup Teferi and Archmage Charm up this turn. I'm just going to try and keep the Heliod's off the board. We don't particularly care about their life game. Without their Heliod in play, they don't really do much. We're just going to plus our Teferi here. I have found Little Teferi to be a very polarizing card. I'm going to let our Teferi take a hit here for 3. I just want to play around them having a large follow-up. Alright. We'll wrap this all way into turn. Our opponent has 1 card in hand. We're going to untap with 2 Teferis. Have up an Archmage Charm. And I feel pretty good about our spot now. And another Archmage Charm just makes it even better. Like I said, this matchup's pretty much over now. I don't care about their Heliod. I'm just going to bounce it back to their hand with our Teferi. I just want to draw 2 cards. Heliod has spots where you want to remove it, and some spots it just is a completely irrelevant card. Draw our card here first before we expressive iteration. Put the search in our hand. Portable Hole is good, but we don't need it at this point. Let's bounce this back to their hand, attacks their mana. Play our search. And untap our 2 lands. We don't care about this card. We will counter their Heliod this turn. You know what? I'm going to let it go. We have another Teferi I'm going to play next turn and just bounce back to their hand. Our opponent is reading both of our Teferis. I assume they're about to concede. You usually see the hover over the new revamped Teferi and then a concede button, but we'll see. Alright, our search is flipping. We'll take a Narset. We're pretty much in garbage time at this point. Take the Portable Hole. We'll bounce their Heliod with our Teferi and Portable Hole away their 1 creature. In what, 2 more turns, our Teferi will ultimate. Play our utility land. We'll untap and have Search for Iskanta available with our Teferi untap. At this point, this is pretty much autopilot for this deck. I don't think we can lose. With that said, I do tend to start playing a little sloppy at this point, so I'll try and play a little tighter. I'm willing to counter this, just because it puts pressure on the table to pressure our Teferi, and it's going to ultimate next turn, and they have no haste, so this Teferi is guaranteed to ultimate next turn now. We'll take the commit. We'll obviously draw 7. They won't be able to draw 7 because we have Narset in play, and we'll get 7 triggers off of our Teferi, and we'll for sure end the game. We could play another Teferi to bounce back their Helia, and I don't think it's relevant at this point. We actually missed on that search for his contact activation. We don't care about any of these cards. And a turn I'm going to cast Commit so we can do the combo next turn with Memory. I'm not going to activate Search for his contact as we're going to draw a completely new hand next turn. So whatever we draw is irrelevant. Alright. So the combo is the Ultimate Teferi. You cast Memory. Your opponent can't draw any cards. We draw a bunch of cards. We blow up a bunch of stuff. And our opponent is permanentless. We are successfully in a garbage time. We have achieved the flawless victory here. See if our opponent packs it up or we have to wait for a Shark Tornado to finish it. As I said, they're reading our Teferi. I assume they're about to concede. So that's the reoccurring trend here. Oh, our opponent's gonna rope us. Why is this not working? Our opponent's just gonna rope us away. They're floating mana as if they have a, you know, an ability here. Our opponent is still roping us. They're not very happy. Alright, this match is over. See if our opponent, like I said, makes us draw our Shark Typhoon and actually put the game away or not. Our opponent's almost out of time. The salt rope is almost over. As you can see there, little Teferi does quite well in these matchups where our opponent doesn't have haste threats. Being able to just bounce them and tie up their mana, making them recast their permanents that don't have haste just buys us so much time that we pretty much always win these matchups. Like I said, the green, if they have Collected Company, and they also have the other green instant that gives all their creatures hexproof and indestructible. I have been gotten by that card. I've won through them though, so it's not a surefire guarantee win for them, but it definitely does make the matchup stronger. Our opponent has one more card. One more permanent. We're going to replay as Teferi as we need a flawless victory here. See how long our opponent wants to play here. Heroic Intervention. Alright, that's the 1/1 white that gives them Hexproof and Indestructible. I literally ran into a guy the other night when I was playing. I ran into him like 3 times. And I rashed him so many times that I swear he literally added green to the deck specifically for that card in Best of 1. I'm glad you got to see this, Matt. Why? Oh man, my stream deck is just all types of messing up today. I swear I set this all up last night, as I don't stream Arena, but apparently my stream deck was not set up and ready. Gonna say, alright, our opponent conceded there as we got him. Unfortunately, we're never going to achieve this this reward today. 45 creatures that attack. That is not going to happen today. Alright, so we go first. This hand is exceedingly awkward. We have no white mana. We'll mulligan this hand. Hand's not amazing, but we'll keep. Starting the the steam vents, so we had to cliff top retreats untap next turn. Looks like we're up against a slow deck, which is probably not good for us as our hand is more set up for aggro. Up against Delver. Well, we'll take care of all their threats then. Thought this hand was going to be awful, but apparently it's not too terrible. The only thing is that I'm sure they have bunches of counter magic, which probably won't be ideal for us. Okay, our opponent just conceded. Like I said, this deck has very polarizing matchups. I do apologize for the delay there. My Elgato stream deck apparently was not set up correctly for this this stream today. All right, so we're what 3-1 with this deck so far. At least they're finding matches much faster for us now. Alright, we go first. This hand seems really slow if they're anything aggressive. We run pretty well. We'll give it a shot. I don't think it's optimal, but we hit a land. That's always something. Looks like it might be a mirror match. Yeah, it does look like it. If that's the case, I'm just gonna cast our expressive iteration here. I was thinking about taking the iteration there, but I'd like to jam double Teferi, as we have two big Teferis. That way, if any of these Teferis do resolve, our big Teferis are sure to resolve as well. Narset is rather problematic, but no activation by them. That's fine. Alright, they can't answer our Teferi next turn. We'll play big Teferi, obviously minus on a Narset. And I'm starting to feel pretty good about our situation. They finally activate their Narset. Alright, they have a search for Iskanta. So as we planned here, we'll just bounce all their stuff and draw all the cards. Wow, why they... I don't know about that foretell there. Bounce this, bounce their search. We're getting a lot of tempo here. We have our own Narset that can't be countered. Yeah, I feel like our opponent's just getting locked out of this game. You can see the strength of little Teferi. I know on our opponent's turn, you know, they can counter our stuff. But just being able to tap out for our threats without being worried about anything is very strong. I assume they're playing their own big Teferi here. I assume they're going to bounce one of our Teferis. No, that's fine. Do I have another answer for our other little Teferi? No. Okay, that's fine. I'm feeling very good about our spot. We're going to play the portable hole here just to get rid of their search for Iskanta. I feel like our opponent is running out of time here. Nice thing is we have tons of backup little Teferis. Aside from our opponent having a combo finish, we should be fine. Oh, thanks, Matt. Sorry, I just saw your message here. See, I'm better at playing on Arena because I can, like, not worry about the clicks and stuff. And I don't feel rushed because we have this, like, counter thing. Opponent's taking lots of damage over there. This is a hard cast Shark Typhoon. Oh, they're gonna blow up our portal, apparently. Our portable hole, I'm sorry. Do you have an answer for our Narset? Does not appear so. I'm just gonna bounce their search here. I was trying to find an untapped land here so we could play Teferi Plus and then play our search for Iskanta, but that did not happen, so. I might get lucky here and still hit it. Oh, we did. All right, cool. So we'll play our search, untap 2 lands. We'll have up Dovin's Veto. So we should be good here. It also helps, Matt. This deck is exceedingly good, so misplaying is kind of rough. Yeah, our opponent just packs it up. I don't think they had a way out there. Like I said, little Teferi, when you have other threats, is just very strong. Like, making them only play on their turn really taxes their mana. And us being able to freely answer all their stuff on our turn without worrying about counter spells is very strong. I'm not gonna lie, I think Teferi's loyalty shouldn't have went up, by the way. I think when you minused to bounce something, it should have went to 1 loyalty. It's still having 2, so it can take an attack from a 1/1, comes up a lot, and it's really surprising. The fact that it can be attacked by a 1/1 and still have 1 loyalty left to stay on the field sounds very trivial, but it comes up a lot in a lot of matchups I've seen. We go first. Do we think we'll hit another land? I don't think we can keep this. I would have loved to have kept that hand, but... I'd like to keep the commit here as it's like our only interaction at like a counterspell. However, I feel like Narset can find us more counter magic. We want the Teferi to bounce stuff into Lightning Helix is very strong. This player tapped lands here. We'll pay the tax for this Esper Sentinel next turn, and we can Lightning Helix it. I was thinking about paying the tax and playing a Search for Escanta, so we hit a guaranteed land to play our Wrath of God. But I think we're okay here, just buying time, playing a Lightning Helix. Why did this draw a card? Oh, its power was 2. Well, I completely forgot that line of text. I thought I just had to pay 1. This is kind of a beating, but... Our opponent's putting pressure on us, but not enough. So like this hurt taking our Wrath of God, but let's go play our Narset here. Thought about playing our Teferi, but I don't want to bounce either of their creatures as they have ETB effects, and that would not be ideal. We do hit an Anger of the Gods, which seems strong. I fully expect our opponent won't commit any more to the board as they know about our Wrath. Hopefully we'll hit an untapped land here so we can go Anger of the Gods plus Search for Escanta. So this is a good draw for our opponent. Ranger of Captain of Eos is actually very strong. People seem to forget about this sacrifice effect. People seem to forget that you have to do that in upkeep. So we'll see if our opponent understands their card. Bodyguard is a good card. It obviously gives Indestructible. Obviously Indestructible does not matter in the face of Anger of the Gods, but... See if our opponent lets us go to our main phase. I assume they'll sack the captain if they know what to do. Yeah, okay. So our opponent saw the line, which is fairly obvious. Normally it's not that much of a beating as we have other instant speed cards to play, but it is kind of a beating here as all of our cards are sorcery or planeswalkers or enchantment. So it is very awkward. We are actually dead here. Yeah, it's rather unfortunate number of draws there for them. Because if we anger the gods, obviously they have a 6/6, we're dead. If we Wrath of God, obviously they sack their god to give it indestructible to their 6/6. We can play Teferi and bounce. Our best hit is Lightning Lightning Helix. That still doesn't keep us alive. I'll cast a Wrath of God to make sure they see the line, but we're very dead here. We did take a loss there. Our hand was not optimal for what we were playing against there. And our opponent's trolls were fairly strong. His hand's playable if we're against an aggro deck. That's the problem with this deck. You need a good mix of things against control and things against aggro. Since we're in best of one, I'll keep this. But it could turn out very poorly. It looks like all of our removal in our hands are going to be pretty dead against whatever our opponent's doing here. I assume it's some type of combo deck or something. Okay, maybe our hand won't be that bad against them. Apparently it's an artifact deck. Alright, well apparently it's Anger of the Gods is just the flippin' nut, so. Interesting. This card being like a 2-for-1 is fairly strong. We'll get our third blue into play here. I don't know if there's anything I should play around here. I'm going to play Scared. I'm going to Lightning Helix their creature now. They have blue. They seem like a tempo deck. I really don't expect them to have any type of interaction. But if I could just play around it, I'm going to. Oh, Thought Monitor. I didn't realize that was a thing in this format. Too bad this was a little late. That Thought Monitor was pretty strong there. Hopefully they'll have another one. We can get our Narset here into play. Shut that off for them. I think that's the only way they can keep up. Their cards don't seem very impactful on their own. We should obviously assume they have all spells in hand if they're not playing lands, but I have no idea what this card is. It's an interesting card. There's 6 mana here. Gonna jam the Narset here. They do have counter spells of some type. Interesting. That's fine. It's rather unfortunate I had to land in hand. Balancing this seems very terrible, as they obviously get the ETB effect. They can obviously attack down our Planeswalker as well. The enchantment they just played, one gripe with Arena is when you hover over one of their cards, you can see what card you're reading. And that tips your opponent off, which is kind of frustrating, to be honest. Because if your opponent's going to miss something and you know they're going to miss it and you want to double check and you want to read the card, it's very unfortunate. They have another counter spell? I assume they do. Alright. To be fair, I forgot we had a Teferi in play, so they couldn't counter our spell anyway. I'm gonna hold on to our Triumph. I found that I do flood with this deck quite frequently, and we might want to, yeah, cycle it. Our opponent's play here is leading me to believe that they have a counterspell. They could attempt lethal here, it looks like, which is what they're going for. They could activate this to make a 4/4. If they had done that, they would present it lethal. Again, feels bad bouncing a Thought Monitor, but we are in a rough spot here. I think I'm going to draw 2 cards before we start doing anything too hasty with our other cards. And our opponent is drawing all the cards over there. My goodness. This is one of those matchups that feels kind of like silly to win, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's kind of like, this is a deck we could easily hate out with sideboard cards. Hey, how's it going, Life Alert? Well, thank you, Life Alert. I'll go ahead here and cycle. The deck we're playing is Jeskai in Historic. For some reason it looks Stream Decker is not working. Basically, they unbanned they unbanned Little Teferi and restructured the wording on the card. So I want to come on and give it a shot. I'm pretty sure we are dead in this spot, which is kind of silly to have lost to whatever our opponent is playing here. We did flood out pretty hard. I assume our opponent has a counterspell in hand, as they have not been playing any cards, and we just hit 3 lands. We'll concede here. It's a rather unfortunate turn of events there. Jeskai in Historic, yeah, I'm a sucker for control decks. This is the list we're playing. Let me change it up here. So this is the list we're running. I apologize, chat is over top a couple of the cards here. If you ever watch Andrea Mengucci playing, he played a Jeskai list like this probably a couple weeks ago at this point, and then they unbanned Teferi and changed the wording on him. So I slid for them into the deck and then wanted to give it a shot. So here we are. We obviously can't keep this. This is not ideal, but we'll keep it. We'll bomb a land. Starting to see a lot more graveyard hate here and best of one. I mean, I assume it's needed in best of one, as I know Phoenix is a thing, but it's interesting to see our last opponent felt like a free roll in their deck, and then this opponent's playing Relic. Looks like black-green control, I'm assuming. Unfortunately, our hand is terribly slow. On the upside, our opponent isn't doing much either. I have no idea what's black and green, I'll be very honest with you. I'm not very well versed in the format, to be completely honest with you. This is more or less my first time like diving into Historic in a very long time. So I'll be honest with you, I can't give you an honest answer. I'm going to assume they're a black-green control deck, so I assume they have Planeswalkers with removal. Nice thing about this is this doesn't take any cards in our hand. The color combo. That's a good question. I feel like I should know this. By the way, our opponent did misplay there. They probably should have sacked their relic and then I wouldn't have drawn a card. That would have been their optimal play there. That's a pretty good question. I don't know what it's called. I'm literally Googling it right now. What's our opponent going to get here? Usually people call it like the rock. I don't know why. That's like an old Magic term. Like black green rock is a thing. I don't know who started that. It's kind of like there were some decks called like Ponza and stuff, which is like a red green land destruction deck. The story I heard is the guy who invented it called it Ponza, and it just, I guess apparently just stuck, which is kind of funny. I'm not feeling super great about our position here. So my deck is incredibly boring. So our deck literally just controls the game, just tries to counter spell and kill every card our opponent plays until they're completely out of cards. So our deck is just a bunch of kill spells, which our opponent is currently doing better than us. A bunch of kill spells to kill all of our opponent's cards, counter all of our opponent's cards, draw cards, and at the end, hopefully our opponent has no cards. And hopefully our opponent has no cards, and we still have cards left. But we are currently failing to do that. We'll see if our opponent misses it. They missed it last time. Yeah, our opponent keeps missing. So our opponent could have cracked their relic in response there. They could have cracked this and it would have countered our card, but they did not. With that said, we drew 5 lands, so I doubt we will win this match.
As I fell to the ocean floor, fading light through an open door, I saw myself rise with the water. They thought they could keep me down, hold that breath and watch me.
If we don't draw something good on our turn, I'm just gonna go ahead and concede this match. Our hand was not very good with our mulligan, and our opponent has more or less assembled a combo that we cannot answer, so. We'll go ahead and just bounce their relic here, as it doesn't have any effects as it ETBs. Yeah, we just had too many lands. So we drew a total of 7, 8, 9 new cards, and 6 of them were lands. The Karn we can't answer without a big Teferi. This card's going to go off, which is irrelevant. This draws in more cards. They have a relic to keep exiling our stuff. So we can't set up our combo with our memory and Narset. I'll give it one more turn, but pretty sure this matchup is over, unfortunately. Our opponent has all the cards here. I assume they're going to take our Archmage Charm, obviously. We could have drew 2, but it would just take the best card of the 2. And we already have, what, a Teferi's already gone. We only play 3, so... Alright, end of turn, I was going to scry with their castle and cycle our Triome, but at this point we just need to cycle our Triome and hope to hit a counter spell. Which we do not, so we'll concede here. Rather unfortunate. That matchup does seem like a very close matchup. Our hand did not fare well against it, but I do feel like it's a very winnable matchup. Alright, I'm probably going to call it for the day there. I think our total ended up being, I think we were 6-3 with the deck, which isn't bad. Again, this was the deck that we ran today. Just Jeskai with running 4 new Teferis. So, appreciate everybody who stopped in. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Life Alert. So, alright, appreciate it. See you later.